Welcome to another instalment of the Carp Fix session film. You're joining me at Billy's Lake on the Norton Disney complex in Lincolnshire, and it's a venue that I've never fished before. Now, I arrived yesterday before Ash, got myself installed in the swim and actually managed to nick a couple of fish yesterday, but that is another story. Now, this morning before the gate has opened and Ash was allowed in, I flicked the rods out again. They're out sort of straight in front of the peg at 16 wraps. I put 20 spombs of bait over the top, but they're sort of just out there to pass a little bit of time while I look for my main area. Now, the reason that I've picked this swim, which is pegs 10 and 11 on Billy's Lake, it's on a point. It commands a large area in the middle of the lake. Now, the middle of the lake is a great starting point, especially on really busy sort of commercial day ski venues just like this one. And to the right hand side, there's quite a large area of shallow water. Now, it's the end of March and shallow water is a great place to start, and I'm led to believe that some really nice spots out towards the tackle shop are around 26 wraps. Now, I've got the map to look at, but even so, I never take anyone's sort of word 100%. You know, it's always good to have a little bit of a starting point, but at the same time, I'm going to have a lead around, find my own spot, and that is where we're going to start this session. Now, although you can buy purpose-made leads for marking up, they're not something that I use, they're not something that I recommend. Personally, when fishing at any sort of range, distance, especially so when it's windy, I like to use a heavy lead. So I've got a 4.5 ounce tournament lead, and the reason for that is when you hit the clip, you can straighten out the bow and keep the line consistently at the same length each time, and that allows me to be more accurate. Now, the reason that I don't use the purpose-made marker leads that have the prongs on and stuff like that is because if you cast them out, you draw them across the bottom and you pick up some debris, some weeds, something like that on the prongs, you can no longer feel the bottom and be looking for the spots that you're trying to find. And I feel that a 4.5 ounce tournament lead, a tournament lead of any weight, you can sort of pluck it across the bottom, and if it does get caught in some debris, sometimes you can sort of flick it, get the debris off the lead and continue to feel the bottom. Now, in this situation, in this swim, it's the end of March. What I'm looking for out there is some shallower ground, and the reason I'm looking for shallower ground, probably gravel, is because I think the fish are likely to be higher in the water because it's the end of March and the water is warming from the surface down. And I think the fish, if they are off the bottom, they're more likely to run aground on a shallower spot. So I do think at this time of year, a shallower spot is probably a good bet. Not always, you know, we've got quite rough, windy, overcast conditions, so I could be wrong, but I'm going to have a few casts around at sort of 26 rod lengths where I've been recommended, looking for the shallower drops, looking for the clean gravel. Obviously, when you feel tension in gravel, you get the sensation that you're coming up, and when you feel effortless, sort of the lead coming across the bottom with no tension on gravel, then you're probably coming down. So that's something to bear in mind. But yeah, I'm going to be looking for a spot out there at 26 rod lengths around the centre of the lake on shallow ground where I hope the fish will run aground. Okay then, so I've made perhaps half a dozen, probably 10 casts out there, and I found that if I go right of the tackle shop, it's getting deeper, and if I go sort of left of the tackle shop, it stays shallow. So there's a massive sort of U in the horizon, a big sort of dip in the trees, and basically as long as I'm to the right of the left-hand edge of that, and I'm to the left of the tackle shop, just sort of on the edge of the tackle shop, I'm on a sort of a shallower, gravelly area. So yeah, it feels nice, feels clean. The whole lake bed is very, very sort of devoid of any weed at the moment. You know, coming out of winter, it's very barren. So yeah, it feels like a nice tabletop to apply some bait to, and that is what we're going to do now, mix up some bait. Right, the first ingredient of my mix is the sweet corn that they sell here in the tackle shop. Roughly 2 kilos in a can, all goes in with the juice, very visible, very easy eating for the fish, and they absolutely love it. The next ingredient is the hemp that they also sell here on site, roughly 1/3 of a bag into the whole can of corn. Small particles, very, very oily, and no mix would be complete without the addition of hemp. And then I've got some 6mm manila pellets. The fish here in this lake, not only were they reared on pellets before they came to the fishery sees loads of pellets as well, so almost like a natural food for them. And the final ingredient is the cloudy manila liquid. Now, not only does that put lots of scent in the water for the fish to home in on, it also has an added bonus of soaking into the pellets, creating a little bit of stickiness within the mix that helps the bait stay in the nose of the spawn and you to cast much more accurately. So a very simple mix, you know, corn, hemp, pellet, an attractive liquid, you know, definitely going to work here and a great starting point. All right, let's get to work. Right, I brought the rods in that I'd cast out this morning before Ash was here, and because the wind's sort of blowing a little bit from right to left, I started with the right hand rod that's on the tackle shop. The next one's about a rod length to the left. And this one, the third one, is just into the big U in the horizon on the far bank over there. So yeah, they're out there. It's pretty windy, so it's not too easy to do, but they're out there to the best of my ability in these conditions. And now, once I get this on the rest, I'm going to get the spom rod out and put out 20 spoms of the mix that we made earlier. I have what is to be a little announcement to make for those of you that have been watching the films for a very long time, following me on social media and whatnot. You will know that I've used mainline baits for absolutely years, and in fact pretty much every big carp that I've caught since 2008 has been caught on their bait, and you know, I'm very, very grateful for the support that I've received from mainline during those 16 years. You know, some incredible sessions at Orient, you know, the first one in 2015, what I would count as probably my greatest ever night in angling. You know, those two big ones, the 57-pound scarred mirror and the 62-pound common, you know, incredible fish. The Belgium low stock big pits masterclass that we filmed for Corda, you know, incredible session there on the long 3-week stint that I had. Caught a 65, a 67 and a 71, you know, and amongst many other big fish. But you know, for carp fix as well, we've done loads of shoots and caught loads of fish on their bait. So it's with great gratitude and sadness that unfortunately, you know, one door has closed. But on a positive note, I have joined Sticky Baits, a very good company, very good bait in its own right. The Sticky Manila and the Krill, neither of which need any introduction. You know, they've proven themselves time and time again over a very long time. So super excited to use the Sticky Baits, looking forward to trying their new test bait, and in the future that's what I'll be using. Well, not so long ago I was talking about looking for the shallower areas because I felt that at this time of year the fish would be high in the water and that they had the best chance of possibly running aground on the shallower spots out in the lake. Now, that is something that can be true in the spring, but in these weather conditions, you know, dark skies, windy and overcast, you know, the water's getting turned over, I don't imagine it's much warmer near the surface than it is at the bottom. And the main thing that's going to instigate my next move, my next change, is the fact I haven't seen anything anywhere near where my rigs are. You know, I've got 3 rigs all in one basket out there. I've seen fish on the same line, but much further over the other side. And I've seen fish to the left, sort of, yeah, out at sort of 10 o'clock to the left. It's much deeper over that side, which is the reason that I didn't initially interrogate that area. But with what I've seen, with what's going on, I feel that a complete change is necessary before dark. Now, I've had a little lead around out there. It's all the much of a muchness. If you go out towards the life buoy, could be rocks, could be boulders, but I was finding the lead was jamming up. So I've come left. And it is a little bit deeper than I'd like. I don't know exactly, I'm guessing it's about 15 feet, something like that, which is not stupid deep. But I found a very sort of narrow gravel seam that the middle rod can go on. The left and right of it, it's hard enough, it's mud as opposed to gravel, but the lead's sliding out of it relatively easy. So yeah, I think that's the course of action. Get those 3 rods wound in, get 3 hook baits made, and try and get them out there before it gets too dark. Yeah, baby. It's obviously a good spot. Haven't even got any bait on it yet. That's what we're talking about, isn't it? Well, the new spot seems alright. I cast the right-hand rod out first. I took quite a few casts to get there, and then I cast the middle rod out. Took quite a few casts to get there, and then before I've even managed to attempt to cast the third one out, the first one's gone. Yeah, right touch. Obviously a decent area, but we are rushing against the light. If I'm to get any bait on that before it gets dark, I need to hurry up. And again, I need to get this one in because we ain't caught anything yet. Get in there. Lovely. Lovely. Right, let's get the other rod out. Let's do this. Well, the change of spot has proved to be the right one. Literally, I think I put 6 bombs out and the left-hand rod's gone. And that's only a short while after bombing it to death, you know. So I've not only plumbed it, cast on it repeatedly, and spommed on it, and they're on it straight away. So yeah, the change was the right one. Here we go. Is that a top lip hooker? I think it is. Get in there. Got him. Right then, the rods are back in position and I am just finishing off the baiting up that I was interrupted from. Just going to get half a dozen or so out and we'll take a look at these 2 fish. Oh no, it was weak. Got there though. Well, this was exactly what I needed. after a very slow start to the day. Started off out to the right on the shallow ground, sat it out for several hours with nothing, moved the rods to the left into the deeper water where I'd seen a few shows, and before I even got a chance to bait up, this one was on the end, just under 26 pounds, and before I'd even finished baiting up, caught a smaller one, another mirror that had 2 pecks. I've never seen a carp with 2 pecks before, but yeah, very unique, very strange, very odd, but I'll take him all the same. Rods have been rebaited, rigs are back on the spots, but this lake is notoriously a day venue, so hopefully we'll get a good night's sleep and catch a few tomorrow morning.